Hello everybody, this is Mong004 and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to actually talk about the entire discussion regarding, transactions when it comes to games. Now first of all, I don't call them microtransactions because they're not really mostly microtransactions anymore, at least when it comes to the popular games that everybody's talking about, and they're calling them microtransactions. They're more major transactions, but I'll get more to why I call them major transactions, because they are really not microtransactions. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that subject because, this subject comes up all the time. And a lot of people like to blame just the publishers and just the developers for the transaction scene. But you have to understand something. Yes, you can blame them for some of the ridiculous practices that they do in, creating these transactions. Like take, for instance, some games will be made to be more grindier than they normally would be. Because of the whole microtransaction thing. And if you want it to be less grindy, the best way to do that is to purchase certain items that make it less grindy, right? Yeah, I don't like that stuff either. And I think that some of the gambling aspect of, randomized items, if you put up some money for it, I don't like that stuff either. You know what I'm saying? But that's probably another reason why I generally don't pay for the stuff, at least not as much. Okay, so yeah, I think it is kind of crummy that they have those kind of setups and stuff like that. I don't think these transactions are overall a bad business. It's all dependent on how it's handled, how they set it up. That I don't mind it when it comes to certain ways they set it up. Okay, like a lot of free-to-play games. No, I'm not the only one to say this type of stuff. There's other people who said it, so I'm not trying to act like I'm saying anything brand new. It's just crazy that people keep on saying this, but there are some really good free-to-play games out there that set this up actually quite well in a way that I actually don't disagree with. However, there are definitely games out there, especially these fully priced games, which I don't mind transactions in those games either. But it's the pricing of some of the stuff, right? But again, we can complain all day about that entire business model. But why is it that people only complain to the publishers and the developers? And I think they think that just because the developers and the publishers do it, well, it's 100% their fault. Well, here's the thing. These publishers, these developers, and trust me, I'm not going to be the only person to say this. This has been said so many times on the internet. Trust me, I'm far from the only person to ever even think about putting this kind of talking point out. But I hear about it all the time, and I hear about it from YouTube creators like Young Yeah, and I like Young Yeah, and I like his approach to talking about the stuff when it comes to one half of his discussion, like the fact that he doesn't like the way that they do it. But he always just blames the publisher and the developer. He doesn't keep in mind these publishers, these developers, they're all in business to make money. And let's keep this in mind. So long as what they're doing is legal and they're making money off of it, they're going to keep doing it. And the only way they're going to continue to make money off of it are people who purchase the products, or people who purchase the things in these games, these pretty much major transactions in these games and stuff like that. I mean, they wouldn't do it if they kept doing this, and let's just say they're making a whole lot of money now, and then they stop making money, and they're losing more and more money doing this, then they'll stop doing it. But so long as they continue to see their profits rise, or at least stay steady, and people continue to purchase this stuff, but then who do you think is further enabling these companies to do this? The customers. And I'm not saying we need to blast all the customers, because here's the thing. Clearly, either some of the customers hate this stuff, but they continue to buy into it, so they're still enabling the company, or the customers like it. The only way to stop this is to not give them more money. If you continue to give these companies money, they're going to continue to do that practice. It's basic business. You know what I'm saying? Businesses are not in business to make no money. And the whole thing about a corporation is that their entire goal is not only to make money, but to continue making more money and more money, especially when it comes to their shareholders. I mean, their whole entire dedication to their shareholders is to, look, if we made this much money this year, make more money next year. Okay. And so long as it's legal, and there are customers who are going to purchase things from that company based on their business model, whether they like it or not. Guess what? If their profits grow year over year over year, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to keep on doing it. They're going to keep on freaking doing it. And this is one of the reasons why it kind of cracks me up that people just blame the publishers for all of this stuff. Trust me, it is not just the publisher's fault. It is also the people who purchase the stuff, in which case, if those people like it, and they continue to purchase it, what do you think, EA and Activision and Ubisoft are going to do when they see that money rolling in. They're going to be like, okay, well, people keep buying it. Let's keep putting it out there like that. It's obviously working. Yes, again, I disagree with some of the practices, but at the same time, I've learned more over time. Just don't purchase it. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I play Call of Duty Cold War here and there. And no, I don't really like that game. I recently just stopped playing it because, again, yeah, I'm not a fan of what's happened with Call of Duty and stuff like that. I'm not a huge, big Call of Duty fan, but clearly Call of Duty has just gone down in value. I liked Modern Warfare 2019 more than some people. The Doors didn't bother me as much. I get it. I get the complaint about the Doors, but I liked Modern Warfare. But yes, Cold War, not a big fan of. But here's the thing, the Battle Pass, right? Now, I purchased Season 1, 2, and 3 of the Battle Pass. I kind of wasted my money on Season 3 because I just stopped playing it, so I really wasted my money and buy on that Battle Pass. I don't even know why I did it. But I did not buy Season 4's Battle Pass. Why? Because, again, I just don't care for the game. And if I buy the Battle Pass, I'm further enabling this company who, again, launched the game half-baked, bunch of glitches, bunch of bugs, and then look at the prices. That not only, I mean, you buy the Battle Pass, right? And you figure, okay, the Battle Pass, for that amount of money could get you all the skins and all the guns that are, on the side and stuff like that. No, see, that you buy the Battle Pass, right? And then they give you the guns. Then they give you some of the skins and all that type of stuff. But then they have this side market for all these different packs, like the Tracer pack and all of that stuff. And you got to look at this thing. They're already charging you for the Battle Pass, and they give you some of the stuff in there. And some of the stuff in the Battle Pass is just complete crap and a waste of time. And some of it's all right. Sometimes they'll give you some good guns. But then they have the little market on the side where they sell you something like a player's skin and one pistol and an assault rifle and maybe a calling card, and then a little charm for your gun, and all of this costs the beautiful low price of $20 or more. Yeah. I mean, I remember back in the day, people used to complain all the time about the maps for Call of Duty back during the early Xbox One days, but mainly the PS3 and the Xbox 360 days, right? You remember people used to complain about those packs, the map packs. You had to pay $14.99 for the map packs, right? But think about it. Those map packs, you got at least 4 to 5 new maps for your $15, right? Now you're just getting a skin, maybe 2 guns, and a few little trinkets here and there, and all that for either $14 at the least, but generally $20 or more. I mean, that 80s action hero pack, I think it was $25 for some of that stuff? $25. Like, heck freaking no. Like, I'm not buying that. So if I'm going to complain about that, I'm also not going to purchase it. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why it's there is because people continue to purchase it. So can I really blame Activision for their overly priced crap? I mean, yeah, I don't like it. This stuff is like crazy overly priced and stuff like that. But am I going to blame them completely? No, I'm going to say, hey, man, there's obviously consumers out there that really want to buy it. And so long as they continue to get money, I don't know how they're still getting money on Cold War because it barely has an audience, but they're obviously making money, right? Or they'd stop doing it. So long as they continue to make money on it, they're going to continue those practices. They're going to continue making that kind of stuff and continue selling things at that price and stuff. So again, I'm only going to complain about Activision, but so much to the point I have to say, well, that's what they're doing. I don't like it. I'm not going to buy it. And hey, that's the business practice that they're doing, and they're obviously successful at it when it comes to obviously a large enough portion of their audience that they'll just keep on doing it. Now, of course, the other thing I wanted to talk about is why I don't call it microtransactions. Now, I think my little explanation about, Cold War and the prices of the stuff in Cold War was enough of an explanation because, come on, those are not microtransactions. But, I think a lot of people forget about where the term microtransaction came from in the gaming community and in the gaming business. And it mainly came, at least from where I first discovered it, mainly during the PS3 and Xbox 360 era. And this was mainly, again, relegated to free-to-play games, but they also started putting it in $60 games. And one of the things that they would do is they would, charge these small prices, like 49 cents or maybe $1 for something that were actual micro prices for things. And one game that I remember very fondly during that time was a game that was like a spin-off of EVE Online. It was called Dust 514. All right. Now, Dust 514, because I know EVE Online, I think it's like an RTS or something like that. I'm not too sure. But Dust 514 was a free-to-play, first-person shooter multiplayer game, and I think it supported up to a fullness of 128 players, and you had all these different factions you could build, and a whole bunch of other things and stuff like that. There's a motorcycle going off in the background, if you might hear it, so sorry if you hear that. But the whole point of this game, right, is that you had this multiplayer game, and you had your character, and it worked based on lives, right? So every time you had a life, you would use one of your combat suits, you'd use one of your guns, and one of your grenades, okay? Now, it's not just because you used it, like, you threw a grenade or you used up all your bullets, because that was one way you could use up all your grenades and stuff too, and then you could resupply on the battlefield. But if you died, that was it for that use of one of those, right? That was pretty much it for one of the three different types of items, a gun, a suit, and a grenade. So what you had to do is you had to purchase these packs. You had to purchase a pack of suits and a pack of guns, which there were different tiers of guns, and a pack of grenades, which there were different tiers of grenades, right? And what they would do is they would do like, okay, if you paid, and I forget the prices of it, but I think it was pretty low. If you paid like 49 cents or 50 cents, you got maybe like 10 or 15 of the high tier guns. And if you paid 49 cents, you would get maybe 20 to 25 of the mid-tier guns. And the low-tier guns, it would have been, again, 49 cents, but you got more of those, like maybe 30 to 35 of them, stuff like that. And each gun would be completely either used up if you ran out of ammunition or you dropped the gun, or if you died. Same thing with the grenade. You ran out of grenades, you used it up, all right? So mainly what you would do is you buy, a pack of them for like 49 cents, or buy multiple packs so that you could have like 100 lives worth of them. All right, so every time you died, you used up one, and it was gone forever. So that's how they incentivized you to pay for things. But again, the prices were low. I think the most things cost on there might have been $2 or something. Maybe it might have been like, I don't know, it might have been a little bit more expensive for the packs or something like that. I'm not too sure. And I remember playing that game. I really liked it. I think it only released on PS3 and PC. And it was a nice little spin-off game of EVE. Again, I never played EVE, but I enjoyed that game and stuff like that. But that's the way the microtransactions worked. But again, they were small micro prices for things. They were not these crazy exorbitant prices, freaking. And don't get me wrong, they kind of got you with that stuff. You die and you completely used it up, and you had to buy an entire gun, not ammunition. It was kind of weird they set it up. Your entire gun was gone if you died, but I get it. So your character would respawn, and you respawned in a completely different suit. But that's how they got you. That's how they got you to spend money on it, and it could be kind of addictive. I spent money on it. I don't know how much I spent on it. I think I got a couple $100s on it. But again, I understood why that model was in that game, and more importantly, I understood why they called it microtransactions. They were actual low prices for the game. Now, if I didn't like spending those prices for the game, I just wouldn't pay for it anymore. Eventually, I got tired of playing that game. But again, they were actual microtransactions. These games today do not have microtransactions. They're not micro, at least not that I've seen, especially things in like Call of Duty. Again, it's full price games charging you almost 1/3 the price of a full game, if they're not charging $70. You think about a game, let's just say you buy a game for $60. And you bought that entire game, campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and whatever connection to Warzone. That's free to play, but you bought all that stuff for $60, right? But if you wanted a player's skin, and you wanted one firearm, one pistol, and some tags and some calling cards and all that stuff, you're paying 1/3 the price of the full game, and they call that a microtransaction. Like, people need to stop calling them microtransactions because they're not micro. Maybe micros compared to the full price game, but that's about 1/3 the price of the full game, and all you're getting is knickknacks out of the game. Okay, at least with EVE Online's Dust, at least when I was playing that, they were actual microtransactions, and it was free to play. So you understood why they had that business model. I completely understood why they set things up like that, and I kind of respected it. Full price games charging that amount of cost is crazy. And then they have the nerve to also at the same time bring up the cost of some of these games to $70 and say, oh, well, we have to meet the cost for development. I mean, how much money are you making on the game by itself? You're probably more than profiting off of that, probably billions. Then you're profiting, again, even more off the microtransactions. So why would you have to charge even more for the, full price game from $60 to $70? It doesn't make any sense, but they're definitely not microtransactions, okay? So that's pretty much the discussion I wanted to have about the whole microtransaction situation. Again, yes, I do kind of blame these companies for their crazy little greedy practices, and I don't really like it more than the next person. But at the same time, I also say, look, for the customers, yeah, if you like buying this stuff, yeah, obviously you want to keep on supporting a developer with this stuff. I'm not going to blame you. You like what you're getting for your money, I guess, right? But if you really dislike this stuff and you're complaining about it, don't buy it. Don't buy it. And don't just blame the developers and the publishers for this stuff. I mean, it's mainly the publisher that sets all that stuff up. But don't just blame the publishers and stuff for it, okay? They only have those practices, just like EVE Online had its practices for a reason, because a player like me liked playing that game, so I would buy those actual microtransactions, and if I didn't like it, I didn't play it anymore. But when it comes to these greedy companies, hey, they have that stuff out there because people pay for it. They enable the companies, and that's mainly the reason why they continue to do it. So you can't just blame the publishers for the stuff. You got to look at the customers. And so long as the customers keep buying what they either hate and they keep on complaining about it, or what they like, they're just not going to stop. So it's not just the publisher's fault. The other thing is, I also want to put out there is people trying to connect the whole gambling scene and saying, well, just like an addiction. An addiction, like if you're addicted to gambling, EA is trying to screw you over and stuff like that. They're trying to get you addicted to their gambling. Look, it's the same thing with a casino. Should a casino close its doors because some people are addicted to gambling, or should somebody, kind of take control of their addiction, their little habit, I mean, you can only blame them so much for the gambling. I don't like the feature in the gambling stuff in these games that are mainly video games. I mean, I can see if you're talking about like, FanDuel and all these other gambling apps, but yeah, it's in your video games is kind of stupid. But again, you can only blame the publisher so much for that stuff. You have to look at the people who again get addicted to doing that stuff and paying for the stuff. So you have to look at it from the consumer standpoint too, and you have to realize this stuff is enabled by people who like to pay for it, and so long as they keep on paying for it, it's just going to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be there. But that's all I had to say about this. What do you think about it? Do you like a lot of these practices? Are you one of those people who don't mind paying for that stuff and enabling it? I'm not going to blame you too much. You might like what you're getting. You know what I mean? You really might like what you're getting. Or do you have a real big problem with it? Are you one of those people who just simply blames the publisher for it? Or do you realize that there's, two sides to it and stuff like that? Do you realize that, look, it's a business and people are paying into it? Let me know down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the commentary. And that's all I have to say about this for right now. If you go on to like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for the next time I upload another video. You'll be notified. And please hit me up in the comments section. Just let me know what you think. But until next time, this is Mong004, and I am out. Take care.